to JANA'S hut. In this episode I will be applying paint to these. There's some pretty good colours going on in amongst that. First what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint these two blue and then these two brown as a base coat. I've really loaded up the brush and I'm just going to go straight in, paint over all of this. Paint into every little recess that you can. Don't be shy with the paint, just keep going. Just make sure you go over the bits to get all the excess paint. Just turn it around so you can see all the bits you've missed. Just going to wait for this to dry so I can paint the outside, so I can block out the light that's exposing the gap. Start painting this one. You may knock pieces out, don't worry, just paint over. Just be careful not to prod it too much. I've given this a good coat with the blue paint and clean my hand so I can now do the side of this. Now those two are painted blue, I'm going to continue and paint these ones brown. I could have given this a good coating of super glue and it would have sealed all the stone. So I'm just gently prodding this, it's not to disturb too much. And once the paint has dried, it will have sealed everything. Just make sure you get all those little stones that come away off your brush. It's looking like a mud pie. I used a smaller brush just to get into all the places that this one couldn't reach. And I'm going to let that dry before I paint the sides. I'm going to turn this into a brown blobby mess. I gently apply the paint because I know that a lot of this is going to come off. Just dab it on, see how it works. So that's applying. It's going on okay. Just trying not to brush it, I'm just prodding it. Just so I don't disturb anything I shouldn't. My excess paint. They're drying, I'm going to go wash the paint off my hands and wash my brush. Finish this one. Whilst the two brown ones are drying, I'm going to continue working on these blue ones. I'm going to keep this one a blue theme and I'm going to make this one a bit of a green one. So next I'm going to apply this lighter shade of blue. It's a bit more of a technical paint, which means it's runnier. So you've just got to be even more careful when applying it using this dry brush technique that I've been using. Go in and just start flicking in one direction. Not too hard, you don't want to break anything off. Already that's highlighting some of that. Do it one way, turn it, do it the other way, and you'll eventually collect paint on all the ridges. Quite a bit of difference in those two already, as I've just applied a little other colour to this one here. This one is still just one colour. Notice on these ridges here, it's collected the paint. So I'm just going to go for an even brighter colour next. I thought I was filming, but I wasn't. I was just applying this last layer to this, and it looks like this. Just gently applying this last colour. I might add another one, I'm not too sure. But for now, really brought out the highlights of that. So I'm going to leave that to one side for now and continue working on this piece. I'm going to add some green first. Now for this to work, I want there to be hardly any paint on my brush. I just want to test it. I'm just going to gently start brushing one way, catching certain surfaces. It's getting drier, so I'm going harder. Just catching those ones. I'm just going to turn it, do the same that way. Reload my brush. That's creating a little effect on there as I just gently apply layers of this green. Go in all sorts of angles, capture everything. I do want it to be a bit more green, so I'm just going to keep adding colour until I see enough green coming out. I think that's enough green. Keeping my brush a little bit dirty, I'm going to just mix in some of this colour here on the same bit of plastic and gently apply it to certain places on here. Just give it a little once over. I think that works nicely. It's just brought out a little bit more colour variation. This is a nice blue colour. It's a nice green something. What I'm going to do is paint this one red and this one sort of a yellow colour. I know that this was red before, it was a brick colour because it was made from brick, but I'm just going to make it a different shade of red. Test it first and start flicking the paint on. Oh, it's really caught there. Turn it round. Make sure you hit all the bits that you feel you should. So it's a bit darker from the red that it was. I haven't cleaned my brush, but I've picked up some of this pink colour and I'm going to apply it to this, just really gently. Hit all the ridges. I want to go overboard like that. That's okay. Just make it all a bit more pink. Bringing out more of the ridges there. Making everything just a bit lighter. I'm now going to just go in with an even lighter shade. Just really want it really dry. And that's the colour I'm going in with. Just trying really hard not to hit too much. Just really the odd bit. Push quite hard there. It's gone quite pink. Just added a nice variety colour. There you go, do it again. This piece is missing some. Even it out a bit. That piece looks like it needs something here. So before I make that too pink, I'm going to leave that, I'm going to put that down. That just leaves this last one, which I want to be a nice bright yellow. So I'm just going to apply some of this wheaty orange first, just to bring out any of the little details underneath all of this. And you'll be able to see how paint applies to dust. The brush is dry enough for me to not ruin the effect. One way, turn it, other way. Use the brush. I think I want a bit more of an orangey colour going on here, so I'm just going to bear down a bit harder with the brush. Make sure I get it all in there. I don't want to paint too much over the brown, but enough so that this mid colour is visible. Bit of a wetter brush, let's just have a look. Just gently. Yeah, that's working. More paint. It's really becoming a lot brighter now. More of that orange colour. Well, it definitely looks like something. But I've applied that colour, so now I'm going to go in with a lighter yellow. So with a dirty brush, I got this colour yellow out and I've mixed it slightly so it's not as bright. I'm going to go and paint that on here. It's already bringing out some of the highlights. So those little highlights have really made a difference. I'm going to add a little bit more of this yellow. I just want it to be really bright yellow. So I really attacked it with the yellow to brighten it up a bit. The contrast between the base and this is quite drastic, so it doesn't really have such a good effect. With a loaded brush, I'm just going to go in and start applying this like that. Really just dab this, it's really dry. Take the bottom, test it, just applying it. Because the contents of the bowl is quite flat, it's very hard to pick out any details. But I'm just going to apply a little bit more of this Wraith Bone to here, see what that does. See what it does if I put it here. Here, just sort of break it up like that, have more than one colour going on. That's the contents of these containers painted. Apart from the colour, I hope that you can see the difference in the way that these are shaped to give you the different effects. Got all these different minerals, could be food, it's up to you. I will be painting the containers that they're in at some point, but for now I just wanted to paint the insides to show you how they looked once painted. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. I hope that it inspires you to create your own pieces. Don't be afraid to paint over what you've created. You can always make it again. Please leave any comments down below, like and subscribe. Thank you for watching and goodbye for now.